For Jenn and the White House. April 18, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. The original federal states of states known as the Confederate States since 1781, doing business as the state of Georgia, the state of Maine, etc., may be revived after being suspended because they are corporations. However, there is another issue to be addressed, and that is the nature of the ownership interest itself. Can Canadians revive an American corporation? No. They can only name a Canadian corporation after an American corporation, and that will not serve to create or recreate a new American corporation of the same or similar name. That this is true is made more obvious by what actually happened to the assets of the original Confederate States after the bankruptcy was settled. All remaining assets were rolled into Confederate state trusts doing business as Ohio State, Wisconsin State, and so on. If, as you suggest, the territorial government and its members, all being by definition British territorial United States citizens, could come back in here after the Civil War and simply reboot the prior existing American corporations by using similar names for their territorial versions of states, as in the state of Georgia, the state of Maine, etc., and inherit all our ancient rights and properties, there would be no need or reason to establish separate state trusts, and more importantly, the Reconstruction Acts would sunset. So we have the positive evidence of the state trust's existence, and the negative evidence of the Reconstruction Act still being in full force and effect, showing that I am right about this and that indeed, the only ones who can revive an American corporation are Americans. And who are the Americans as opposed to the British territorial United States citizens? The people. And who are the people? Those American state nationals and American state citizens who are naturally populating the physically defined states, the states that are also parties to the constitutions. This is proven by the nomenclature used on all the period documents. The Republican soil jurisdiction states who are members of the unincorporated union doing business as the United States are always referred to as states up until 1851 when new styles were adopted. These are also referred to constantly as the domestic states, or domestic nations, in the literature of the times. The international land jurisdiction, however, is composed of lawful persons known as the people doing business as states, the names of which are always capitalized. The very important thing to notice is that all these entities are unincorporated. The lawful persons known as the people who are populating the actual states of the Union are corporate in the sense of having adopted trade names, but they are not incorporated by any foreign sovereign or state. They are a sovereignty unto themselves as all unincorporated entities are. So, the presumptions that are made about the various kinds and levels and ownership interests and naming conventions and successor rights of the incorporated states of states do not apply to the actual states, because one type of entity, the states of states, are incorporated, and the other, the physically defined states, are not. This is the root of what is called the succession dilemma. Only unincorporated land jurisdiction people acting in their lawful person capacity as American state citizens can revive the American states of states that are now mothballed and held in abeyance. Put another way, only people who are properly defined as Texans populating the land jurisdiction of Texas can incorporate the state of Texas, and only people acting in that same capacity can revive and inherit the successor rights to the state of Texas and the Texas State Trust. Unincorporated entities are lawful persons, not legal persons, and therein lies the rub and the reason that try as they might, the British territorial United States citizens and also the citizens of the United States, can never access the successor rights owed to the lawful persons, the people, of this country. That is why they have been at such pains to try to secretively redefine all Americans as legal persons, so that they could claim in international court that we no longer exist as people and that our assets are abandoned. But guess what? Only lawful people can inherit lawful assets, so they are just as far out in the woods and in the muck as they have ever been, and now proven criminals and conspirators against the constitutions, to boot. This is why the territorial government is under obligation to arrest its own citizens who claim to be assembling states, when in fact, the most that such persons can do is to assemble more territorial states of states. Run, don't walk. To secure certified copies of your birth certificate and witness testimonies, do the paperwork outlined on my website in Article 928, and, acting as one of the people, join your actual state assembly of lawful persons, or help get your state assembly of lawful persons organized. A list of verified state assemblies is available on the American States Assembly website along with additional necessary information. Note from ed. A link to Article 928 is in the YouTube description. Thank you.